Red against black for the visiting red and black of Western Sydney Wanderers up against Adelaide United. Handshakes taking place out on the ground, and an interesting match in prospect. These two teams reasonably close last time they met. Now we get to see if Adelaide can continue their good home run, or the Wanderers can win back-to-back for the first time in 12 months. Adelaide United, just the one change. Ryan Kiddo into the starting 11. Nikola Mileusznic drops out of the squad with an ankle injury. Jordi Thomason continues to lead the line, the transfer window acquisition. For Western Sydney Wanderers, in come Bruce Kamau and Abraham Majok at the expense of the omitted Josh Sotirio and injured Kwame Yeboah. And to the substitutes, where Ken Ilso returns to the subs after his suspension. Alex Baumjohann is back for the first time since January 8, and Rashid Mahazi completes the Wanderers bench. Kick-off not too far away. Marco Kurtz, 3 wins, 2 draws, no losses, undefeated against Western Sydney Wanderers, an opponent he might be happy to see as the visiting team tonight here at Hindmarsh. And Marcus Babbel, just the one away win. Winless away in Australia. 3 draws, 4 losses on the road. And of course, looking for consecutive wins. After that, victory against the Mariners. Adelaide United, Jordan Elsey, one of their defensive pillars. They did fall 3-0 down last time they were at Hindmarsh Stadium. They'll be hoping for a more resolute performance here. I believe their attackers a bit less work to do. On the other side of the equation, Oriol Riera very much in the firing line for the critics, be they his own supporters or the impartial analysts. A lack of goals, and given the price tag that's been bandied about as the one he carries, the expectations are definitely not being met. Tonight's referee is Daniel Elder. It's his 20th A-League appointment. Matthew Cream and Paul Citrangelo his assistants, and Jonathan Barrero is the 4th official. In the VAR booth, there's Chris Griffiths-Jones. Relaxed and sitting back for now. We'll see if he is sparked into action at some point over the next 90 minutes. Isaias went on a bit of a scoring streak, which was rare for him, having a fantastic season. And as you can see, he is the Iron Man of this Adelaide team as well. Rolly Bonavacia had a little scoring streak of his own, and his numbers stack up quite well. If only the team could follow his example to lift Wanderers' overall performance. So all in readiness on a beautiful evening in Adelaide. Perfect conditions for football. And the whistle of Daniel Elder will get this round 19 clash underway as Adelaide United host the Western Sydney Wanderers. And the Reds look to continue their push for a home final. Wanderers just trying to win 2 games in a row. And Andy Harper, it's been 12 months since they've done that in the Hyundai A-League.
And 6 weeks since I've had the pleasure of your company. So great to see you. It's a beautiful night here. Great to be in Adelaide as always. A picture-perfect scene. And Adelaide looking to forge ahead, certainly of the Wanderers, whose season's been forgettable. And now they, I think it's safe to say, are in preparation mode for next season already. Let's see what they can deliver. Adelaide can kick further up the table and put the top teams under that bit more pressure.
Certainly the announcement of the injured Josh Risdon as a Western Melbourne group or a Western United acquisition during the week. He's currently injured and out tonight with his deputy during the Asian Cup, Tate Russell, holding down that right back spot. You say thoughts of next season, it sometimes is forced upon you when the new boys on the block are starting to announce they're taking your players away.
Possibly so. That's a great opportunity. It has been this season for Tate Russell. His things we're speaking specifically about him. And a real find. And there's no reason why he won't kick on again next season with added opportunity.
Bonavacia is looking for him right on cue for his first touch of the match over on the right flank. Bruce Kamau against Galloway, who continues to win plaudits for the season he's putting together. From the centre of midfield, Boland to Kitto. An opportunity for him. Goalless in 14 this season, so Howie would love to score tonight. Ryan Kitto, as he defers to the other Ryan Strain, and back to Elsey. As Michael Jakobsen gets his first touch at the centre of Adelaide's defence, and a shallow pass invites on Russell. Wanderers not exactly breaking a sprint here, and eventually the run is not obligated as a result. All a little bit too slow. Jordan O'Doherty is forced to backtrack instead. Kamal once more. Russell engaged against the sideline, too close to the mark. The last little corner of shadow will creep off the pitch during this first half, but for now, Galloway may have to shield the eyes every now and then. He's looking to turn provider here as the ball runs long beyond the strides of Jordi Thomas. Vedran Janjetovic with a bit of time to ponder on the ball. He's been at the heart of, again, like many of the Wanderers, a lot of criticism for his own individual performances. He'd love another clean sheet, get them in consecutive weeks just to build a bit of confidence. Blackwood, a bit of hold-up play. Adelaide home fans just starting to build a gradual rumble of noise around the stadium. When they find their voice, it is a special place, Cooper's Stadium. One team currently owning the ball, Isaias. Didn't like the passing option on the left, so he ducks back in for Jakobsen. And now the press nearly catches him. Riera showing some hustle. A more aggressive ball is going to fall for Blackwood, and he lashes it over the bar. An early sighter.
Well, a good penetrating pass out of defence from Jordan Elsey. A real feature of his game. The Wanderers didn't adjust properly in defence. It's a poor touch from Kiddo, and it falls, fortunately, for Blackwood, who makes some very good contact early, and good sighter from George Blackwood. Shooting from distance is not something that we've readily attributed to him.
Very much behaves as a target man with the way that he plays and how he's deployed by this Adelaide team. So the dynamic with him and Thomason will be interesting to see how it develops. It's only the Dutchman's second appearance. You have two lanky, long striding strikers, and Blackwood is definitely sitting deeper of the two, so it's a different role that he's been deployed in here. You see them both trying to guard a bit of space and defend this throw as Bonavacia, who, well, snapping at Isaias. He never needs much of an invitation to exaggerate contact, and Isaias says, what's that all about?
Well, he did cop him. And it's all very well to apologise to someone once you've just put a meat cleaver through their calf. But, you know, the other point you make about Rolly Bonavacia is right. He is, as they say in the classics, very light on his feet. But he certainly caught one then. Interesting speculation linking him with Popovic and Perth Glory next year.
And now he's taking a speculative effort of his own, which is onto the chest of Paul Izzo. Bonavacia. He saw the funny side of rearing back up against Isaias. Isaias certainly didn't. Abraham Majok, bit of defensive cover. Strain. Rides it out. Boland and Kiddo. A touch to no one. In a red shirt at least, and Hamill at the centre of defence takes over. Mutakutis, the youngster under pressure. And Russell just going to donate it back to Adelaide here. Goodwin, Boland. And then O'Doherty is legged by the German Mirko Boland. No fluster upon conceding an obvious foul.
It's the shot from distance. Bonavacia springing to his feet after winning that free kick. He made very good contact with that. Straight at keeper Izzo, no trouble.
Spoke about George Blackwood not being a specialist or a prolific shooter from distance. Bonavacia couldn't be a more stark contrast. You wouldn't say he never met a long shot he didn't like, but he definitely has the tools to be able to control that technique. That was a low driving ball to the keeper, but Adelaide will be best warned not to let him have too many looks from distance. Strain. Back to Elsey. Galloway's pass. Goodwin. just able to shuffle off against Russell at the last second and take possession. And now Galloway on the overlap. Sweeping ball to Kitto. Came to him at an awkward height. Back to Goodwin. Can he free that left peg? Stuck in a 1-on-2. Back to Galloway once more. And Blackwood behind the keeper on that cross.
Yeah, situation ignited by Goodwin and then retrieved by Goodwin. Ryan Kitto, again, that was a difficult one, but for the third time this match, his first touch is really wayward. Mutakutis couldn't get the ball away. That was soft defending, invited Craig Goodwin back into the discussion.
Now it's Wanderers' turn. Riera. He's not going to get a play at the ball here as it's safely guarded over the byline. Elsie. And Kitto. As we see the live ladder. Adelaide United trying to really open a big gap. Fourth place, of course, hosts a final against the fifth placed finisher. Win or go home. And Melbourne City losing to Newcastle last night certainly opens the prospect of them breaking 5 points clear. Wellington a good point, but they remain in the same situation. Starting to lose touch of potentially hosting a final at the Cake Tin. Kamau. O'Doherty to Russell. Dangerous pass and a ponderous touch from Hamill. It's going to work out for Wanderers. Mutakutis. Strain is hugging the touchline. Jean closed the passing channel for him, though. Adelaide happy to be patient enough. Miko Boland. Wanderers midfield and defensive unit doing a lot of chasing at the moment, and that's an unkind deflection as Blackwood plays in Goodwin. A deflected cross, though, and it's set up kindly for the goalkeeper.
It's good space for Craig Goodwin being found. There's a lot of real estate, but the Wanderers are not closing off at all. Deflection was kind in the end, save for Janjetovic, but it's been a pretty sloppy start from the Wanderers defensively.
As the ball tails out. Not to overanalyse one situation, but is that the right back, Russell, not guarding his space, or did Mutakutis, the centre-back, need to get out to Goodwin earlier?
I think across the field. The damage had been done by the time the ball got out there. There was so much space to get the ball into midfield, into Blackwood to start with. Just not compact enough. The Wanderers to start this.
10 minutes ticked by. Adelaide has never conceded a goal in the first 15 minutes against Western Sydney. We heard that from Tara and the Matchday Saturday panel pre-game. 5 minutes away from maintaining that record. Wanderers will have to strike it from the record books. And a foul here on Bacchus means they will get a set-piece opportunity. And he is a bit worse for wear from the contact.
It's a fortunate break for the Wanderers, not that Bacchus wasn't collected. Their attack had broken down with another wayward pass. Blackwood deemed to have stretched in there and stood. Kieran Bacchus. Keanu, rather.
And he's up without the need for the trainer. So he'll walk that off. Bonavasi's free kick. Plenty of tall players to aim for. Riera, Majoc, the centre-back Hamill. Even Mutakutis, who has a headed goal to his name in his brief A-League career. And this one is going to find the back of the nets. Riera! Wanderers lead at Coopers Stadium. He's on the scoreboard and thrilled to be back among the goals. Western Sydney 1, Adelaide 0.
Well, this is the ultimate reward for a rather soft and innocuous free kick situation. It's got beautiful delivery. It's flighted perfectly. That's an expert finish from Riera. We haven't seen enough of it during his stint in Australia, but these tantalising moments when you wonder what might be. Well, that's what is when Riera gets in the right place. It's a great finish.
And it's his first goal since right back here at Coopers Stadium on Boxing Day. It's taken more than a month, but welcome to 2019, Oriol Riera. And his 6th strike of the season gives Western Sydney the lead on the road.
Interesting in doubles. It's Blackwood who gave away the free kick, and it was Blackwood who lost Riera in the penalty area for the goal.
So Adelaide need a response, and where there was just a little bubble of atmosphere starting to come to the boil from the home crowd, now they've lost their voices, albeit, you hope, temporarily. Ryan Strain might re-engage them right here. Thomason goes to ground, sold the contact, and gets up unhappy. More than a few Adelaide players unhappy, in fact. Wanderers will break in the meantime. O'Doherty, as VAR takes a look. Wanderers don't care, they want to attack. Kamau, back to Jordan O'Doherty, and then he left the ball behind for Boland to clear. And then the touch off Kiddo. Majok against Strain. Ryan Strain, low centre of gravity, good use of his body, and a foul to halt the Wanderers' momentum.
Well, on that penalty incident, which is being checked again, the referee had the whistle to his mouth. He looked like he was poised to blow. I think he's tripped over the leg. I don't know that there's a penalty in that.
Home fans are getting to watch it on the scoreboard. It's not exactly rancorous disagreement.
There might be advice for the ref to go and have a look and make his own mind up. I think that's coming.
Well, and generally this tends to be a precursor, but will Daniel Elder take a look and back his original decision? I wouldn't be surprised if he decides this still isn't a penalty. Chris Griffiths-Jones has certainly flagged it as being worth another look from the referee.
Hamill doesn't collect him, I don't think, when he first stretches. Is there contact there? I find it hard to tell. Maybe there was a little bit. He certainly tripped over the leg after that. Or was that because of his poor control? Up to the ref, who's getting his own look now.
It's just his 20th A-League appointment. Body language is not giving much away. Oh, wow. Normally the ref runs towards the penalty area, and the very penalty spot he is going to pay the decision for when that happens. And he's outfoxed us all here, Daniel Elder, because he ran back to the middle and then pointed to the penalty spot. So it is going to be a spot kick.
It's all about the theatre. Teo, you've missed the point. It's all about the theatre.
No, I didn't enjoy that. I really did think he was going to back his own call.
Well, as I said, at live speed, he was very close, looked to me, to blowing the whistle to start with. And he heard, maybe we put this down as good refereeing. If I'm not sure, let's let the play go on, we can come back. The question for me, and people might have already made up their mind, is was the first contact from Hamill, well, was there any? And it seems as though there was a bit. Was that enough to bring down the Adelaide player? Then with the control gone, any rate.
Craig Goodwin has taken the ball. He scored last time against Wanderers. They were previously his worst A-League opponent. He'd gone 13 games without finding the back of the net against them. Now he wants 2 in 2. Wanderers led early. Adelaide with the chance to equalise with the assistance of VAR. Goodwin against Janjetovic. And Janjetovic saves! Still a chance for Thomason. It's not cleared just yet. Strain following in. And now the situation. Wanderers stand their ground. And neither Goodwin nor VAR could beat veteran Janjetovic. And Strain, it's blocked. He gets another chance. Wanderers still need to hone right in and try to preserve their 1-0 lead.
Well, that's a good save from Janjetovic. He owes the Wanderers at least that, given the season he's had. Maintains the lead. This team that's really struggled so far this season.
Strain, Thomason, and there will be less debate over that. Shove in the back. Free kick coming up. Adelaide, you imagine this isn't the sort of thing that will rattle them too much. They have shown their mental strength quite regularly. Late goals, late winners. In fact, 3 stoppage time winners this season. Sort of team that, not that you want to make a habit of it, are able and used to coming back from a deficit. And the penalty miss will be quickly forgotten should the delivery be a good one here. All hands on deck for the Wanderers then. Goodwin with the bending free kick onto the head of Murakutis, and then a header from deep, unable to trouble Vedran Janjetovic.
It's very comfortable for Janjetovic. He'd guessed the right way. Indeed, it was a guess. Very solid bit of work and disappointing from an Adelaide viewpoint.
It's a very assured dive from Janjetovic, almost like he got the mail and knew which way to go. Strain, Murakutis, touch into the path of Jordan O'Doherty. He will try to break the lines, but that is an underwhelming end result. Blackwood to Kitto, the return pass. Blackwood trying to make ground. Hasn't been a good 10 seconds for O'Doherty, but Blackwood's pass is swept into a crowd of Wanderers players. And it's Bacchus who emerges with the ball. And Wanderers, their own worst enemy, trying to play it out of their defensive half as Boland finds Kitto. And only Tate Russell at the far post. Boland. Back to Jakobsen. Galloway. Isaias. Galloway trying to keep the tempo high. Trying to keep Wanderers chasing. Kitto. Able to draw contact from Elrich, but legal. Isaias. Shunted out of the way by Riera. The goal scorer finds Bonavacia. Now Majok. Riera's touch gives it back to Jakobsen. They have completely taken over possession. They're at 68%. Absolutely owning the ball at the moment. They've got Wanderers pinned, but they haven't been able to find an equaliser. Thomason. Strain. Boland. Into the path of Kitto. All about the cross. And it's guarded and blocked out all the way by Elrich. First corner of the game coming up. Vedran Janjetovic looking calm and collected at the moment. Definitely different to the abject disappointment we saw up at Suncorp Stadium. We've had penalties, we've had free kicks. Now the battery continues from the corner. And Goodwin's delivery is allowed to fall. It was all Wanderers players initially. Elsey with some solid contacts. And then Kitto once, twice. Bacchus just boots for territory.
You watch the Wanderers at the moment as they struggle to clear out of this corner, Teo, and part of their problem.
Goodwin with another bender, but that one is headed away by Hamill.
Large part of their problem has been, poor passing. But it's even more fundamental than that in these phases of the game. Adelaide, when there's a breakdown or there's a ball to be won, are just faster to it and hungrier. And now, I know that's a big hallmark of this Adelaide team under Marco Kurtz. It's one of the reasons I enjoy watching them play so much, because they've got great appetite for what's in front of them. And I'm quite sure that you can make the same assertion about the Wanderers. And maybe that's been a big part of their malaise this season.
Certainly inviting on the pressure with some of the errant passes out of the defensive half. As that ball over the head of Blackwood flashes through the box. Russell out the back. With company, though. O'Doherty has found his passing radar. That's better. Tate Russell now. And Kamau in a 1-on-2. Can he conjure up something? Bruce Kamau. The chop step. And then leaves it behind. Galloway. Kamau. Energy still abundant as he goes chasing, but Adelaide are happy to calm it. Defer back to their defensive line. And that brings the home fans back to life as well. Quarter of the night's action ticked by. Wanderers in the lead, thanks to Oriol Riera's header. Another look at the corner kick.
Now, Janjetovic comes, doesn't get much on it. Collides with Keanu Bacchus.
I tell you that Thomason definitely wasn't expecting the ball to reach him because it's hit his head and gone back away from the target. Wanderers attacking in the meantime, but Bonavacia can't chase it down.
Overhit pass again. The quality's really lacking from the Wanderers at the moment. Apart from the goal moment from Riera, that was fantastic. His first headed goal in 26 attempts with his head. Decent stat, that one.
It's a great stat, thanks to the Fox Sports Lab, who are also showing us.
How do you know, Teo? I didn't conjure that one myself. Oh, ye of little faith.
Maybe you're part of the lab.
I have been running algorithms on
Doctorate of Statistics, Andy Harper.
No, you're right. They don't miss a trick, the guys in the Fox Sports Lab.
It was wrong of me to presume. I will admit that much. But we saw there on the screen as well, 85% possession in the last 10 minutes. It's almost training drill levels of one team having the ball and the other team just defending. As Galloway continues that trend here. Bowling. Forceful pass, but Kiddo was front and centre. He believed he was fouled. Majok turning into Strain.
See, that's just soft from Majok. You've got to be stronger in possession there. But he lost out in the first one. Who was in the first instance? And then the turn and chase. It was Strain and then a mile. You've got to have a bit more mongrel about you in these situations.
And then the foul he concedes at the end of it is a...
Well, it's just a giveaway. It's done by then.
Misplaced aggression. Flat diagonal ball. Strain does well to control. Adelaide still a long way from the target. Wanderers' defensive line takes the opportunity to press back up. And the home fans fall almost silent as they lay in wait. What's the next idea? Goodwin. Majok not able to help in defence. Coughs up the ball. Strain. Blackwood. Isaias. Galloway. Numbers in the box to aim for. Galloway with the step over. It's low and clever, and Thomason tried to roll wide.
Yeah, it was a clever idea to try and roll wide. The touch from Thomason was just too heavy. Great burst down the left by Galloway. Look at this. He's had a very, very good season. Galloway restated himself, in my opinion, as a bona fide A-League consideration. I think he wandered badly for a few years, and big question marks whether he was going to last the distance, but he's bounced back enormously this season at Adelaide United.
Great to see. He's up to 119 appearances tonight, so across a number of clubs it can feel like just a nibble here and a nibble there, but if this is the right fit for him, long may it continue rather than continuing to bounce around. Goodwin. Combining with Strain, and now a decision to make as the Wanderers midfield shuffles across. Guarding the space at present, Jakobsen with a good pass to Kiddo, and now Galloway has to stop and prop. Jakobsen, sweeping ball, Goodwin's escaped out the back. Can't find a teammate though, and Bonavacia was chopped with the attempted volley.
Well, that was good anticipation from Bonavacia, but we're just watching this Adelaide team very well organised and lined up really nicely by Kurt's excellent coach. And they worked this from left to right and then into the penalty area nicely. And Bonavacia, edge of the D, read that nicely Good play from the experienced man.
And a little break like that, will it, at some point or another, stop that feeling of inevitability that Adelaide are simply counting down to an equaliser here? The Wanderers have constructed very little by way of counter-attacks during this spell of Adelaide control. The one thing they have going for them is the scoreboard, but the general pattern of the game is a bit grim at the moment. Come out. Given away to Boland. Strain, hurried by his first touch, and that opens the door for Majok. Bacchus. And this will be a rare forward foray for Western Sydney. O'Doherty and Kamau, can they strike against the run? Tate Russell sees the opportunity to get up the pitch, but his cross sails out.
Well, disappointing outcome for Tate Russell. He linked in nicely, and the key to it, and we're talking very basic stuff here, was Majok strong on the ball, strong in his mind that he was going to protect the ball. That was the first link in the chain, and you get a series of those together, and guess what? You get a good sequence and an attack on the penalty area. You don't start with those basic links in the chain. You've got no chance, not against a team like Adelaide, who you know are going to be sharpened and ready for the fight.
If nothing else, a reminder to Adelaide that Wanderers are still here, and will pick them off again for a second if they're not careful. Strain. Jakobsen. Galloway. And now a burst of speed from Kiddo. And Janjetovic wasn't to take a risk there, decides just to palm it over the crossbar rather than be caught out.
That's not an unreasonable option taken by the Wanderers goalkeeper. There's Kiddo bursting down the left this time, leaving Russell in his wake.
Janjetovic was far from convincing on the last corner. Can Goodwin create another headache for Western Sydney's defence? This one is low to Kiddo. And a deflected ball. So Adelaide's corner wins them only a throw. Wanderers all remain packed in the penalty area as Majok puts it out for another corner. So not too many of the defenders had to change their starting position. Right now there's going to be a delay. The referee with one of those mandatory talks to players who are treading on each other's toes and getting in each other's road. Ilse and Hamill are the ones that get the lecture. Looks as though the short corner has been set aside and a more conventional delivery is coming. Over the head of Mutakutis and off the back of Jakobsen. And that corner goes to waste.
Well, Tate Russell just too square on and showing too much of the line on it. Might have chased a little bit more vigorously. You're going to have to do that because you know Ryan Kiddo is fast.
Marco Kurtz did say pre-game that he expected Kiddo to cause trouble. He's got a good scoring record against Western Sydney, 3 and 5. And now Thomason. Home fans expectant of the new arrival. It's Yoni Thomason, and it's blocked off the ankles of Hamill. And then Kiddo caught. Boland. A couple of kind ricochets for Mirko Boland, and then has his legs taken from under him. This is a free kick. It suggests it's beyond shooting range. Probably Bonavacia back to his feet, hoping that there's not a yellow card to accompany, and indeed as he leaves the scene there's not, so just the foul.
Well, at least he scrambled Bonavacia to try and help his team defensively. It's true, he's put them in a little bit of a spot now, but that ball over the top put Vedran Janjetovic in that corridor of uncertainty. He's been punished this season by Lee on occasions when he's left his penalty area, and you can understand why he's a lot more cautious with that now. I actually think on that particular occasion he had enough time to go and get it, but you would rather be cautious.
Isaias, a drifter, Blackwood's flick, and not enough power on connection to drive it beyond the keeper. And now Wanderers can sense the chance to counter. Adelaide getting numbers back. It's 3 on 5. Majok is one of the 3. Good first touch. Can he finish, Majok? And it rolls agonisingly across the face. And then Kamau commits a soft foul to let the air out of the balloon.
Well, it's a nice free kick from Isaias. We get used to them. That's just such a brilliant chance. I'm not quite sure about the shot selection there from Blackwood. It's a more than adequate first touch from Majok, and then squibbed it somewhat at the end, and that's a ridiculous giveaway to take the pressure off from Bruce Kamau. So having dodged a bullet at one end, they had a great chance to go 2 clear.
You're right, first touch was good, second touch not so good, and there's going to be a lengthy delay because the trainers have been called for the first time tonight to go and tend to Jordan Elsey. Let's take a look at the only goal of the match that currently separates the teams. It's his, Oriol Riera's, from Bonavasia's free kick.
Beautiful free kick. Poor defending, poor marking. Let's get the bad bit out of the way. Let's focus on the good now. The delivery perfect, and a really crafty finish from the Spaniard. Oriol Riera lost in the lead-up and nails it with the finish.
Dr. James Illich there, walking off with Jordan Elsey. Looks as though there's no real urgency on the Adelaide sideline. And Elsey able to walk under his own steam, so you suspect whether it's magic spray, a bit of tape, maybe a painkiller they're handing him here. Indeed, he'll be back in business. And Adelaide temporarily down to 10, just over 10 minutes from half-time. Their bench tonight, Michael Morone would be the obvious replacement player, but it might lead to a reshuffle as to who plays in the centre of defence. Morone has been thrust or thrown in there when it is desperation stakes. As O'Doherty, Elsey sprints back on at the bottom of the screen. Full complement restored for the Reds. Wanderers hunting a second. O'Doherty and Kamau with a burst of speed is able to cut it back, but no teammates there to capitalise. Bacchus barely called his name in this match. And then a double falcon. And it nearly breaks kindly. Players playing ping pong between their heads. Thomason, and again, another one into the mush of Craig Goodwin. One of the reasons you want to keep it on the deck. It is Mutakudis with a drifter. Riera appeared to be fouled. Play continues. O'Doherty and Russell. Wanderers trying to restore some parity to possession. They are still under 30% possession total over the course of 35 minutes. Tarek Elrich getting forward for one of the first times tonight. He's got Majok wide and uses him. And Strain refusing to be beaten. Elrich, though, with the follow-up. And then onto the head of the recovered Elsey. Kiddo to Blackwood. And the spin, a good one, releasing Kiddo. And now Ryan Kiddo digs deep and wins his team a corner.
Well, after a good piece of solid possession from the Wanderers, long time, half an hour in the making, Adelaide come away and we're treated to this delightful bit of work from George Blackwood. That's superb. And then Kiddo was away. Watch that all night. Brilliant stuff from Blackwood.
Completely deliberate. Knew Kiddo was making the run. Was able to execute. So now the resulting corner, 4-0. Corner kicks already. Goodwin has taken all of them. This one is low to Isaias. Curtis set himself for the ball and won it. Boland. Galloway to Isaias. The right man to pick the pass. That is a teasing ball for Thomason. Committed a foul as he won that header, though. It wouldn't have counted.
Well, he just hit some beautiful balls, the captain. Isaias judged a foul anyway, but he never, even if he'd taken an undue advantage, which he had with his arm over Tariq Elrich, Thomason never looked really that convincing. Game and a half now. We're still waiting to see what the Dutchman brings to Adelaide.
Bonavacia escaping through the left side. Kamau in the box. Riera joins him now, and he was the target of the cross. Galloway guarding his left side of defence. Curtis. Riera gives himself up offside. He'll get back on here. Bonavacia. Hooked that one well wide.
Well, he's looked pretty energetic in attack. The rare moments that the Wanderers have been able to attack. That's Bonavacia, of course. He's had a quiet season by his standards. Only really now Teo, I'd say, maybe shaking clear the fog of the Popovic departure. Remember, it was Popovic who took him to the club. And I know that's a while ago now, but it seems to me to have taken Rolly Bonavacia a long time to get anywhere near the form that he showed at Wellington and has made him such a prized asset. The last few weeks has been much more like him.
As Strain venturing forward and just easing onto the right boot of Hamill. Safety first. Isaias. Galloway. Blackwood pondering the options. Elsey. Goodwin. Wanderers happy to sit deep. Kiddo. And now Galloway with some acceleration. And the enthusiasm couldn't be faulted, but the first touch wasn't able to match.
Yeah, give and go. And it's a better chase from Tate Russell. Maybe he got his angle a little more friendly. He does present a huge danger. Galloway, form is in. He's a fine athletic specimen as well. He will raid down that left-hand side constantly.
Goodwin out of the clutches of Majok, but then wiped out by O'Doherty. Rather than take exception with the man who fouled him, it's Riera who's drawn his ire.
So, Teo, I don't know why that has to be acceptable from Riera. Why is that not a yellow card?
Certainly Goodwin's contention. A strain. And it's sat up, but O'Doherty was able to sweep it clear. Thomason and Blackwood overrunning the ball. And then in the tangle of legs, it's a Wanderers free kick, taking us into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Isaias with a rueful smile. Here's the chance.
He's full of power too, is Strain. He gets to the ball. Was there contact on Blackwood as well? He didn't make anything of it, as you called it, quite correctly, but do we need players to make something of contact for the referee to respond? I pose that as a general question.
Blackwood, very deep. So they're all going to have to get on their bike here to match Galloway. Kiddo gets to the ball, and Goodwin was hoping it would sit up for him. Elrich doubling back. Yet another corner.
Adelaide won't want this half to finish without the goal coming. It sounds obvious, but they're building. And a half-time break for the Wanderers could reset things completely. Adelaide will need to, will be wanting to make the most of this advantage that they're building for themselves. They're looking very dangerous indeed.
This is a big stand for Western Sydney. Can they make it to half-time with the clean sheet intact? Janjetovic ends up emerging from a huge pack of players to get a clean run at the ball. They all, in red, ran underneath it. Let's take another look at Galloway's burst that got them into that attacking position. At the end of the chain, he was hoping that Goodwin could finish it off, but Eldridge, who's standing left back for Wanderers tonight, was there.
Yeah, I thought probably Ryan Kiddo might have had a little bit more craft at the end of that run with his final delivery.
Maybe a bit of urgency in the final 2.5 minutes of regulation from Adelaide. There has been an ebb and flow to how furiously they've chased this equaliser. Isaias. Strain. Goodwin. Stood up by O'Doherty, then he lost him. Goodwin. And had help in the form of Hamill. And then Isaias via Bonavacia. Still made it to its intended target. Jakobsen. Blackwood committed. Janjetovic gets it clear. Kiddo! Adelaide do get their equaliser before the break. And it is Ryan Kiddo, the scourge of Western Sydney Wanderers, who makes it 4 in 6. If there is one opponent he loves playing against, Ryan Kiddo says, give me the Wanderers.
And it's completely fitting that a goal should come in these circumstances. Janjetovic gets to the ball and punches clear, but who reacts first to the free ball? And it's not a Wanderer. It hasn't been virtually all evening. 4 of them in between, no one reacting. O'Doherty on his heels. The man in red, Ryan Kiddo, says, I'll have a piece of that. If none of you are interested, I'll have the lot of it.
Game 15 this season for Ryan Kiddo. He hadn't found the back of the net. Well, he's got one now. And so it is parity on the eve of halftime. It's been a busy night already for Ryan Kiddo. Marco Kurtz put him in for a reason. And we're seeing it come to fruition already. As we wait to kick off, Wanderers having lost their lead back to 1-1. Do they have a sting in the tail at the end of the first 45? Backus over the bar and a chance to check in with Michael Sapone at pitch level.
Yeah, don't discount the role that George Blackwood played in that goal as well. You might notice when the ball came in from Ryan Kiddo, Blackwood stayed inside the goal, kept himself in an onside position. He's been pretty good in this first half. Blackwood playing in the number 10 role, but smart play there.
Good shout, Zap, as he just went and hit next to the post behind the goal line. As the board goes up, 3 minutes of additional time. And the Jordan Elsey injury, I say that it hasn't exactly been a first half littered with anything noteworthy. Just the 2 goals, no particular time wasting. Anyway, I don't mind.
Well, there was the injury, there was a bit of VAR time.
Good shout, the VAR. That is a factor in getting 3 minutes of stoppage.
Terrific hit that from from Kiddo to level the scores, but they've threatened all night Adelaide, and they've looked shaky in those breakdown / transition moments. The Wanderers just, the Reds are all over them.
And that continues here with Galloway low, hoping for Thomas, and Mudakudis sends it behind. 6 corners to none. Isaias gets over to make the delivery. They can turn this around and lead before half-time. I want to be inside the Wanderers' rooms waiting for what Marcus Babbel might have to say to them. Isaias. Strong header from Riera. Almost feels like they need to survive this last minute and 20 to prove a point to themselves more than anyone Western Sydney. They can hold their nerve. Adelaide just holding the ball up. Miko Boland directing traffic. See the total passes completed. Total dominance from Adelaide in that count. Can they take the lead where it does count? Goodwin saw Blackwood. And Blackwood loses the defenders. Galloway! And that was the chance to hit the front before the break.
Well, he's dead set having a night out tonight, George Blackwood, with his feet. Beautiful. A good run in behind and then just lovely intuition. And it might easily have been two. And all the plaudits to Blackwood. He's put on some really beautiful moments here in the first half.
Galloway, who hit the target in the opening round of the season, hasn't scored since. Nearly got his second of the campaign there. And the halftime whistle sounds. This game is in the balance and up for grabs, even though a lot of the general play has largely been one-way traffic. Riera scored first, a well-taken header in his first goal of 2019. And the equaliser, Ryan Kitto's 10th career A-League goal. And it leaves the game dead level at halftime. Adelaide United 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 1.
Marcus, Adelaide had the ascendancy towards the end of that half. How do you get it back?
Yeah, we lost too quickly the balls. Also tactically, we did some mistakes. So then you come under pressure because it's a good side. They're physically strong, and yeah, I hope I could organize this in the halftime, and we can show a better second half.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Marco Kurtz with his thoughts. Marcus Babbel, what am I thinking? It's the start of the second half. It's a battle of German managers, and it's Adelaide against Western Sydney Wanderers dead level, 1-1 in this match, with Wanderers having taken the lead, cancelled out by Ryan Kiddo's equaliser at the start of the second half. Andy Harper, do Wanderers have it in them again to spring another surprise?
Well, not on the form this season, Teo. You know, they're very much the way they are at the moment, the way things are at the moment.
Kiddo. And did that one squirm across the byline? It did. Yeah. So continuing the pattern of the first half, where it was 6 corners to 0.
It's a great burst by Ryan Kiddo. Yeah, the Wanderers have set a habit this season of being a team driven by circumstance rather than them driving the circumstances. And if something goes their way, then they can really discover some form and push on. But if you're looking at a team that's going to make things happen, of the two on show here tonight, you'd have to think it's going to be Adelaide United.
Well, if the Red Army behind the goal can will this one in early, he's going to throw down the gauntlet to Western Sydney. Isaiah's delivery met by a well-won header from Brendan Howell. He wins a foul for his trouble as well.
There's a big collection of players there storming towards the ball. There's a little bit of contact on Hamill, which Daniel Elver, the referee, decides is a little bit too much.
Certainly that replay shows how little contact there was, Andy. He's reached for his head, he's collapsed to the ground. It was barely a touch of a hand on his back. Anyway, Wanderers won't care. To his credit, he's actually leading the A-League in both clearances and blocked shots, so he does a power of work at the centre of that Wanderers defence. Too much work as far as he would be concerned, as it shows just how regularly he is left under the pump. Adelaide trying to apply that pressure once again beyond Thomason, and it is Hamill right on cue who ushers that one over the byline.
Yeah, it's good defending from Hamill. Thomason never really looked like he was going to get there, but Hamill still needed to stick to his task.
Vieira's header. Sit up for Kamau. He has to take it wide in order to control. And he's just hip and shouldered, front on, wiped out by Michael Jakobsen. As they say, force equals mass times acceleration, and that was forceful.
Well, he didn't see him at all in the peripheral vision, Bruce Kamau. If he did, he should have steeled himself for that contact because it was thunderous. Anyway, they win the free kick to be taken by Bonavazia.
And it was from a free kick similar to this that they scored in the first half. Riera was the man then, as Adelaide's marking improved since. Bonavazia draws his own. He leads with the fists. Tate Russell. Back to Bonavazia. Second time ball incoming. That one is on the head of Isaias. Backus. O'Doherty. Abraham Majok. Ball is nicked off his toes all too easily. Elson to Goodwin. Isaias coughs it up. A rare misstep from Isaias, and he goes and corrects his mistake within seconds. And then quick to restart play because Galloway has escaped on the left side. Kiddo, Adelaide's goal scorer. Return ball for Galloway. Was breaking towards the line rather than the target. Boland, no elevation on his cross. Mutakutis clears. And then Boland, show of strength against Bonavazia. And then presented too much of the ball to O'Doherty. And Kamau with a rather aimless pass. Rightly throws his head back at missed opportunity for Wanderers. Certainly two sets of fans, Melbourne City and Wellington Phoenix, cheering on the Wanderers tonight, hoping for a favour to keep the door to the top four a little bit more open after both dropped points yesterday. Newcastle Jets sitting outside the top six would simply be hoping that any of their fellow teams in the bottom four can take points off those in the top six at present. As Blackwood is through the left, and then it's just presented to Thomason. Blackwood another opportunity, and kept away from Goodwin. Elrich guarding him closely. Ryan Strain spent so much of that first half down in attack. Goodwin. Boland. And Jakobsen. Through the channel it goes. Galloway, and they're queuing up. Kiddo denied, and Blackwood denied as well. Ryan Kiddo nearly had a double. And then Boland's energy will spill the ball. Kiddo, can he turn provider? He's clattered after crossing the ball in, and the referee points for a goal kick as the Red Army are incandescent.
Yeah, well, it should have been a free kick. Beautiful through ball that was assisted by the poor defending, the lack of awareness of Kamau, and the two shots blocked by Adelaide. Couldn't see it clear. Riera picking that ball. That's a clear foul, really. Riera gave the ball away, and in his desperation, which is a credit to him, to try and redress the situation, he's committed the foul and gone unpunished. It should have been an Adelaide free kick. I will, at least, however, acknowledge Riera's determination to try and correct his error. I think there's been too little of that from the Wanderers in this match so far.
Thomason fashions across. Blackwood runs beyond the touch of his right foot. Galloway. Boland. Blackwood. Adelaide players surrounding Wanderers. Dancing on the ball is Galloway. It's been that sort of night for him. You can see the confidence in his game. Boland matches him step for step, and then the pass is not one to match. And now Majok has a cause to go and chase. Can he outwork Strain here? He gets in front of him and wins the ball. All to do for Abraham Majok. And then no support forthcoming. You feel as though maybe he just wasn't confident enough to take the game on and shoot himself.
Well, he made great ground to get there, and with those moments in a game, you haven't seen a whole lot of Abe Majok in A-League action.
Bonavacia, a deflection! Wanderers lead! If you don't shoot, you can't score, and Rolly Bonavacia, with the aid of a cruel deflection, has the visitors back in front. And what visiting fans are left in the stadium after the constabulary went and tapped a few on the shoulder in the first half are celebrating.
Well, he's been their best tonight. He makes the space, so credit to Bonavacia. And then it's as simple as, if you want to win the Chook raffle, you've got to buy a ticket. And it's complete fortune for the Wanderers and misadventure for Adelaide, which separates the teams.
The look on Paul Izzo's face says it all. Rolly Bonavacia has been in great goal-scoring form this season. That is number 6 for him. And so Bonavacia's record of 6 in 15. That is exceptional return. And Marco Kurtz with it all to ponder as his team falls behind at home yet again. Marcus Babbel channels his inner Ernie Merrick. So 2-1 then. You said that they're a team of circumstance, Andy Harper. Well, this is a circumstance that
exactly.
they will like, and now it is all for Adelaide to do. Mutakutis survives an attempted nutmeg.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Well brought up, Teo. And of course, in the context of the game, with Adelaide generally playing so well and so forcefully, the fact that they now have to come up and chase even more will make for an even better spectacle, you'd imagine. Fortunate to not have gone behind themselves. The Wanderers even more fortunate to have taken the lead.
And Janjetovic sure-handed here. 10 minutes only expired in the second half.
Can they run home from here, the Wanderers? A long way from the tape, of course. The big thing for them that Rolly Bonavazia has bounced into some form and some intensity and to some goals. And you look at the quality on the Wanderers bench just to add to things if they need.
Bonavazia is a bit of a one-man show. He's going to enlist Kamau to assist him. Bruce Kamau had designs on the top right. Couldn't keep it down.
And so a bit of the focus at the moment now with Bonavazia being so decisive is the role of Asayas, the Adelaide captain. Now, because his form has been so good, we pretty much have got to the back of every game and said how well is Asayas going. Indeed, with his citizenry through, should he be a Socceroo? Well, he's got a big job as Adelaide captain tonight, as the man pretty much directly responsible for putting the shackles on Rolly Bonavazia.
It's a good shout because Bonavazia has made the second half his own so far, and thus Wanderers have the lead to show for it. Craig Goodwin, it hasn't quite been his night. Can he spark to life here? And the low cross in. Thomason is guarded as it goes behind.
He's having a little difficulty, Tate Russell at right fullback, with the speed of the Adelaide players. Galloway's dancing over the ball and running, at least putting him under pressure and oftentimes running past him. Then he had to confront Craig Goodwin, a very difficult assignment.
And so Wanderers have had plenty of practice defending corners in this game, and that one defended itself as it evaded all the bodies in the penalty area. Bonavazia sees Kamau in space. It suggests that they are quite good front runners, Wanderers, because they are playing with a renewed vigour, having taken the lead. As Bacchus finds Bonavazia. He's going to take it on. And another deflection. Riera. And that one is sent sky high.
Well, that's a great opening for the Wanderers, really. They were defending a corner and sprung with real verve. Bonavazia to Kamau. He couldn't quite connect with Majok, but they still were able to reset the attack. Unfortunate outcome. A disappointing outcome with the Riera effort.
Strain. Pass played him into attack, and Majok is trying to pursue him here. Kept it in, and the Adelaide attackers really expected him to, perhaps, because they were all left flat-footed. As we wind towards the hour mark, you take a glance at the bench. Adelaide have Ken Ilso, perhaps, determined to redeem himself after being sent off 2 weeks ago. Carlon Armiento, who had that fantastic cross for the winning goal against Brisbane Roar. But no Nikola Mileusnic, out with an ankle injury. He was the hero last time the Reds were at Hindmarsh. They can't turn to him tonight. So the 11 on the pitch are the ones currently charged with turning Adelaide's circumstance around. Blackwood. Galloway. He's going to go for it. And that one bending over the bar, but it has been a good night for him so far, so why not?
Yeah, very good. Not a bad option. And Adelaide with a lot of players in the box, so they're attacking with real intent. But this is beautiful from Goodwin to make something more of the attack, and then jinking on his right foot. Galloway quite within his rights to look for that far corner.
Janjetovic with the sledges of the Red Army in his ears. Russell. O'Doherty. Trying to leap against the much taller Blackwood, who was caught in a pincer movement. Bonavazia tripping on his toes, concedes the free kick. Boland happy to move it on. Galloway. This time defers to Isaias. Ryan Strain lifts one towards Goodwin. And he got the left boot up, but didn't time it quite right.
Disappointing for Adelaide because Ryan Strain's cross was just too heavy. Found nicely, couldn't deliver with the cross. They chase the game now, do Adelaide, because of Rolly Bonavacia's deflected effort. He's been very good for the Wanderers.
Mudakudis. Done by Riera. Elsie got over. Boland. High ball, awkward for Hamill. And his defensive header a good one though. Kiddo. Closing speed was decent. Elrich to Bonavacia. His goal the difference between the two teams at present. A little stutter step before swinging it in for Riera. And your marquee centre forward's got to do better. He's left a prone Jakobsen in his wake, but here's another look at the chance.
And here's the contest between Isaias and Bonavacia. He wins that one. Unfortunately for the Wanderers, Riera can't deliver. 1 from 27 headed efforts. Oriol Riera. Bonavacia is having a field day here today. This is a fortunate end to this bit of work. Very fortunate off the derriere of Ryan Strain. But he's deserved that, Bonavacia. He's shown the way forward for the Wanderers, and that cross he put in for Riera should have given them a 2-goal buffer. The Spaniard mucked it up completely.
And so the players will take this break for treatment for Michael Jakobsen to get over to the sideline, rehydrate, have a quick discussion of what the next phase of play and, in fact, the next 15 minutes will have.
Well, Jakobsen's prone because of that contact, and it should be 3-1. I mean, that's got to be a goal. I mean, you're in the position, brought from overseas, the status of Oriol Riera. First goal tonight was his first headed goal in 26 attempts. He should have had 2 out of 27.
Jakobsen looking sore. There's absolutely no way Adelaide will want him to leave unless he's physically unable to play. We did mention in the first half when Elsie was getting treated, they don't have a natural central defender among their available subs. Those are the two players that have been in the wars worse than anyone in either side so far. And Adelaide are still temporarily down to 10, albeit on the attack. Elsie. Elrich strips Kiddo of the ball. And so Bacchus with a gap open. Adelaide have sent Boland in to cover at the centre of defence while Jakobsen still waits to get waved back onto the pitch. Isaias and Bonavacia. He is taking this game by the scruff of the neck, and he can't do it all on this occasion. Isaias, almost prophetic, Andy Harper. You've mentioned that Bonavacia is his direct man, and they are going nose to nose.
And Isaias, I don't know if you could say he's off his game. I think he's played well. He's hit some beautiful passes, but what we're seeing now is when someone like Bonavacia is on his, it puts Isaias in a different register altogether. Really pins him back. He's having the dickens of a time controlling Rolly.
Galloway, as you can see at the beginning of this passage of play, Jakobsen is now back on. And there's some discussion occurring on the sideline for Western Sydney Wanderers. Mitchell Duke appears to be speaking to John Paul de Marigny, assistant coach, so change of foot. Isaias. Galloway in space. Boland. Mirko Boland. First time in this half, he's just hit a low pass at shin or boot level that's been easy pickings for the defence. Goodwin. rather than a sense of inevitability, there's just a sense of frustration as Adelaide have to bide their time and wait for the right opportunity to present. Thomason on the spin, and Janjetovic gets across to Holt.
But they work the tie really nicely, Adelaide, and that penalty edge of the penalty area is hugely congested. But Mirko Boland and Sayas, a nice interchange and good use of the body there from Thomason. The deflection might have been enough on another day to have tricked a keeper whose weight might have been going the other way, but Janjetovic comfortable in cleaning that one up.
And now we've seen Jakobsen suffering in this second half. It's Brendan Hamill's turn to receive treatment. He's pointing, as you can see, to the inside of his left knee. Those are his numbers. I mentioned that he's the leading shot blocker in the league. He's being treated. Referee Daniel Elder right there on the scene.
Don't drop too deep. Don't drop too deep. Don't drop in the line. You have to stay higher.
Marcus Babbel speaking to Tasmo Curtis, it seems, Brendan Hamill's central defensive partner, and he's back up and mobile.
Well, a physio Stanovancic, the Wanderers physio there, sporting the Michael Jackson look. A one-glove treatment of the player, and that glove was a brilliant black colour. And pot, there it is. Why don't you moonwalk your way over to Brendan Hamill, Stanley?
It's there for a reason, I'm sure, a medical reason. The good news is it's done its job, because Hamill is straight back on, and he's chasing right here because Strain is hurtling forward, almost falling off his balance. He was going too quickly to do anything at the end of that run. And now Riera. Kamau works on the opposite side of the pitch. Bonavacia eventually arriving with Kamau. And he's hard up against the line, over the line in the end. And, well, Bonavacia, why didn't he shoot himself?
Was he too unselfish there, Rolly Bonavacia? It's tailor-made for him to whack that one. Instead, he whacked the pass out.
First change of the game, Mitch Duke on, Bruce Kamau coming off. And so Kamau, who has had a few moments in behind, that one shot that went high and wide earlier in this second half. Not a prominent night. Mitch Duke gets an opportunity. Surely only a matter of time, Andy, until he starts, Mitchell Duke.
Yeah, and, you know, he's on a slow burn. I'm not sure how long he's signed for at the Wanderers, but he's pretty excited by his return to the A-League, his time in Japan, where he's had to really fight for his place and be successful in doing it. I think it's going to be a great inclusion for the Wanderers.
First and only sub of the game made so far. Duke coming on for Kamau, and he's involved right here. Sliding it to Riera. First touch took him wide. And he wanted Duke and couldn't find the return. Doherty stops Boland initially. It's a swift 1-2 with Blackwood. And then the pace slows down at the feet of Elsey. Blackwood. Ryan Strain. Time steadily becoming the enemy for Adelaide United if they want to win tonight. Currently trailing 2-1. Safe to say, since going behind, the attacking momentum that they had in this game when they were 1-0 down and then level 1-1 has dissipated significantly.
Well, I think that void has been filled by a renewed Wanderers, driven by the circumstance. Deflected goal to give them the lead, and they're up for it now. They've got a little bit of there's light at the end of this particular tunnel. And I think we're in violent agreement, Teo, you and I, that Bonavacia has been the man leading the charge. But they still needed that little bit of fortune for the goal to go in. They look a much different proposition now, and it's a sterner test for Adelaide.
Kiddo.
Even the sharpness in closing the ball down. Now look, Duke in. Tate Russell in.
And the pass from Galloway will find Blackwood. Bides his time. George Blackwood, decisions. And still the ball is glued to his feet. And then Galloway, not that he wasn't expecting the ball, he just couldn't take it with him.
No, I thought that one was set up quite nicely. And the ball just got in mid-stride of Scotty Galloway. It's a nice angled run by Blackwood. And he delayed it nicely from here. He tried to set it up. He teased and then set the ball through. And it was just in that half stride, the line of the ball. Scott Galloway could only succeed in hitting out for a goal kick.
Bonavacia onto Majok. Yes! Wanderers 3! 3-1 up. Abraham Majok. Is the party starting in Adelaide? The visiting Wanderers fans are delirious. Marcus Babbel may not be matching the enthusiasm, but they have a 2-goal buffer.
Well, this is a really tidy finish. There's not much to it, though. 2 balls over the top, one from the keeper, then from Bonavacia, and then from Majok. Beautiful lob in the end. So was the pass. And Izzo, does he come or does he stay? He does neither, really. Certainly not effectively. And Majok gets the 3rd for the Wanderers.
Just his 2nd A-League goal, Abraham Majok. And not to tempt fate, but when he scored his first A-League goal, that was to put Western Sydney 3-1 up over in the West against Perth Glory. And what happened after that, Wanderers fans are trying to erase from their memories. Maybe tonight it will be different circumstances. Right now, I don't want to say they look like winners, but they're in a very good position.
Well, I think they look like a football team in the second half. And Adelaide started the second half well. Bonavacia's 2nd goal's changed the complexion for the Wanderers. It hasn't made Adelaide play poorly. They've just had a more combatant opponent, buoyed by the confidence of that 2nd goal. And now, with a 3rd goal, what can the Wanderers deliver as a set of players? With Bom Johan still on the bench. A long injury layoff for the German marquee player. Wonderful footballer. And maybe in this sort of environment, he could do some more damage for the Wanderers.
Isaias. That pass is firmly overhit. Tell you what, on a night where, as Ken Ilso is being prepared to come on for Adelaide, Oriol Riera has taken a seat mid-pitch as well. So there's going to be another break here once the referee spots him. And so Ken Ilso will come on. And being replaced is Mirko Boland. And so Ilso, his red card prompted the crazy game that was Adelaide 4, Brisbane 3. Perhaps now coming on to try and engineer something similar, and the universal symbol for a sub, Andy Harper, has been made for Riera.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance at Super staying on tonight the final.
Abraham Majok. It's a close one for onside or offside. I would say Ryan Strain's left shoulder has probably kept Majok on, from that angle at least. Certainly not enough conclusive evidence to overrule. Riera just talking through the Brains Trust about his physical state. Likes the idea of continuing.
And now an explosion off the boot there, high into the fans from Isaias. And Riera, well, he has survived the twirling index fingers, and there's not many players that do that. So we have another look at Isaias' attempt. Clearly, whatever the physio said about Oriol Riera, he disagreed enough and was able to convince the coach that...
No. It was the Michael Jackson glove. We've had, for 40 years, 50 years, we've had the magic spray. The Wanderers have come up with the magic glove.
And now, as Rolly Bonavacia goes to ground, we're going to get the total opposite of magic. We're going to get a little bit of acrimony. Izzo and Eldridge decide to tussle, and it's all a little bit pedestrian. It's not really a scuffle. This image is being shown to the fans, and they're voicing their displeasure. Wouldn't even call them spot fires. It's just the occasional player runs in and is trying to identify, is there a fight? No, there is not. Here's how it all started. Isaias, perhaps. There we go. Hand to the face.
Well, this is one of those light on your feet moments to which I referred earlier. They're incendiary moments. Okay, the Adelaide player has no right to put his hands on Rolly Bonavazia. Point one. But point two is hitting the turf and clutching your face. I mean, it provokes reaction. I'm not sure if that's what it's intended for.
The net result is
he got a captain a yellow card.
Player on his own team goes in the book, Brendan Hamill. He's clearly nonplussed about it. Gone into the last 15 minutes. Here comes Alex Balmuahan, his first appearance in the A-League since January 8. We've been waiting 5 weeks to see him, and Aurel Riera's return to the game was a brief one after his injury assessment. And they're going to milk every second they can as they sub him out of the match. And so where Adelaide were able to dig deep and find a miracle last time they were at home, Wanderers are starting to just do all the right things to try and make this clock tick over that little bit quicker. Back underway. Isaias. Elsie. Strain. Loses the ball. It's been Rolly Bonavacia's night. 2 assists to go with his goal. 7 balls into the area. Wanderers actually lead the league in that statistic. Behind their ladder position, they do spend a lot of time pumping the ball into the box. Buxer is involved again here. Draws a bit of contact from Galloway. Feeling he's really enjoying getting under the skin.
He's back, Rolly. This form has been virtually, has evaded the Wanderers fans for the bulk of his time at the club. The last few weeks, much better. And tonight, this is the player that made every team in the league actually want a piece of him. In the transfer market, that is.
Eldridge trying to take on one too many. Also got the ball. Isaias and Strain.
Start of the season, Bonavazia in this form, with the first snippets we saw of Balmuahan, I think a lot of people were rightly thinking, mate, this could be a decent cocktail, these two together.
I'm glad to agree. They went on a promising FFA Cup run that reached the semi-finals. Balmuahan was showing what he could do. This was before Ziegler got injured at the centre of defence as well. And the contact there from Kiddo will take that out for a goal kick.
Well, it's an amazing scoreline. First half, Adelaide, 70% possession. And the Wanderers really defending well in their penalty area, but basically making up the numbers. And Ryan Kiddo scored just on half-time. It's completely in line with the flow of the game and what Adelaide deserved. Started the second half well, Adelaide. And then a deflected goal for the Wanderers. And they've all of a sudden become a completely different proposition. Very difficult for Adelaide to get away from now, get behind, to challenge the goal, and indeed protect their own goal. Balmuahan just into the fray. Bonavazia uncontainable at times tonight.
Ilso. Kiddo. Russell trying to track him. And it's in the safe hands of Jan Jedovic on this occasion. And now a cramp for Jordan O'Doherty.
Well, referee Daniel Elder's not saying the game's stopping.
Jan Jedovic pumps the ball out for a throw.
Nice angled ball from Kenelso. This is when O'Doherty first felt the twinge. Tate Russell working hard to cut out the pass, can't quite do it. Kiddo from the byline, but well smothered by Janjetovic.
The glove's going to work, Andy.
Saw it here first. Eh? The focus on Stan's glove.
Rashid Mahazi is being readied. Jordan O'Doherty still feeling that left calf. As we tick into the final 10 minutes of regulation. Doesn't seem to think he's getting subbed off here, Jordan O'Doherty. Now the board goes up with his number. And he applauds the visiting Wanderers fans who see their team holding a 2-goal buffer into the final 10 minutes as Rashid Mahazi comes on.
Well, unfortunately for Jordan O'Doherty, he looked to the Wanderers fans to say thank you and give them the applause, and they were doing the Poznan. They all missed him. 80 minutes in.
There they are, Wanderers fans on the road, amusing themselves very much so. Given the season they're having, credit to them for making the trip here. Expectations possibly may have been raised by coming off a win against Central Coast. Majok. Strain, who will be so disappointed that on a night where in general play he had Majok largely under his thumb, has now got that opponent on the score sheet with a very important goal. Looking very proppy there, holding his left hamstring, Majok, but he's able to continue in the game. Galloway. Jakobsen. Sweeping ball. Elsey. Jakobsen going direct. Thomason. And Ilso. Strain. Well defended by Elrich to get his boot up and block the cross. And then Ilso tangled himself.
And Majok's cooked. They're running out of troops. The Wanderers.
I have to say, this one seems a bit more sincere. We did see barely a minute ago he was looking very sore with his hamstring. And I'm not sure this one is quite as laced with cynicism as you would suggest the circumstances would dictate. I think he is actually properly injured here.
Yeah, no question. But the biggest picture is that they're running out of bodies. And got themselves 3-1 clear, but as you said in Perth, they lost the lead like this with a player down. So Newcastle now 6 behind Wellington, and Melbourne City, who lost last night. Adelaide within reach of the Jets, are they, if they don't win here, with Newcastle playing Adelaide next weekend.
It's big. I must say, I like Newcastle as a team. Their results have really, I think, belied the talent they've assembled.
Well, it could really congest if I mean, let's project for the sake of the table and the discussion. The Jets knock off Adelaide next week, then they're just 3 points behind them. Melbourne City, meantime, have got the derby against Melbourne Victory, who haven't won in a couple of starts, so that puts a bit of spice into that one. A fascinating round coming up next weekend. We haven't even finished enjoying this one yet.
Still got Perth Glory in action later tonight, live and exclusive on Fox Sports. We saw Carlo Armiento being ready for Adelaide. Jakobsen. Can they peg one back, Adelaide? Can they set up another big finish? Jakobsen turned into a cross shot more than anything. It had no bend whatsoever. And so Carlo Armiento, whose assist got Adelaide the winner last time they were here, is going to replace their only goal scorer so far tonight. Here comes Ryan Kiddo, unable to add to his tally. And don't forget, Perth Glory against the Brisbane Roar. That is coming up next. Perth top of the league. Brisbane Roar the entertainers, whether they win or lose, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Dylan Wenzel-Hall.
I thought you were going to say Perth top of the league, Brisbane not.
No, I like Brisbane. I mean, I think just about everyone except Sydney fans was thrilled and excited by their performance last Friday, so why can't they go to Perth and come up with something?
Well, kids playing, getting a chance. Dylan Wenzel-Halls, maybe Charles Lockerlingoy, by the look of what I saw of that quick cutaway to the warm-ups, might get a start.
Still 5 minutes plus stoppage of business here to be handled by Western Sydney. Can they win away for the first time in a long time in Australia? Can they win 2 in a row for the first time in a year? Armiento throwing himself into this game to the turf and winning a free kick. Tate Russell is going to be booked for his trouble. As we see the contact that merited not just a foul but a booking, Armiento has had the desired effect almost instantly after coming on. And so a free kick that, if Adelaide score here, that mental toughness, that resilience of Wanderers will be tested so severely. This is a huge moment in the game. Isaias, and it's knocked behind for a corner.
Great defensive header. This is the desperation shown by Mitch Duke that the Wanderers need to exhibit.
Wasting no time on the corner, and again it is Duke. Thomason will let it bounce out for another corner. Double figures for Adelaide on the corner count tonight. Great Goodwin, they're in hurry up here. Adelaide United, it's a moonraker. And down it comes onto the head of Brendan Howard.
Well, Adelaide will still get the opportunity to pepper the penalty area.
And now perhaps the clock will start to feel like it is moving at snail's pace for Western Sydney. Armiento couldn't get the foul this time. And so a full field counter-attack is on for Rolly Bonavacia. He's going to go himself. Rolly can't do it. Second time of asking, off the face. Third time lucky. Majok denied. And then Mahazi, of all players, can't beat his own.
Wow. Exciting play. I mean, brilliant defensive effort from Adelaide. Just sheer desperation to keep it at 3-1.
Now Armiento, Goodwin is there. He stops and waits, and Galloway makes the run. And then the cross is a total anticlimax.
What a great passage of play. Bonavacia setting this up nicely. Led everyone to believe he was going to try and feed Balmjohan, and then he decided, I'll go myself. It's really good with his feet from Izzo. And then I don't know how much he knew about the second one, but it was very effective. And Ryan Strain got there before Majok could complete a brace. What a second half from Rolly Bonavacia.
And now down to 2 minutes of regulation to go. The shot count dead level. The scoreboard still a 2-goal buffer for Western Sydney. It was nearly 3 goals clear and back to the west of Sydney with all 3 points. They remain a heavy favourite to emerge with the points from here. Balmjohan being forced the wrong way, but no one is chasing that back pass fast enough to trouble Janjetovic.
And I am going to take this very brief opportunity to correct myself. It's Ruan Tongnik who's getting ready to play for Brisbane, not Charles Lockerlingoy. So in that quick cutaway, here's Michael Moroney's chance.
He's going to be coming on here for Jordan Elsey, who's left the pitch over on the other side. Got barely a minute plus stoppage to do something at the end of the night. Straight into possession he is. Score now, and they'll have plenty of stoppage time. There have been injury delays. You just never know. Can Adelaide force the matter? That's what Jakobsen's pass tried to do. Russell not taking any risks, and luck's of fortunate falls kindly to him. Moroni. groin strain. Jakobsen. Goodwin. Adelaide, as we tick towards stoppage time being announced. They need to get it down into a threatening area. Wanderers right now holding them off, keeping them at bay. Morone. It's pass after pass, but now they are to no great effect. And Goodwin with a shuffle, can't get beyond Duke. Morone comes up. Bonavacia, it's been his night. 6 minutes on the board. Western Sydney Wanderers have got the answers at the moment. Tarek Elridge can slow his run. And every time the ball goes dead, Western Sydney Wanderers will be stopping to a standstill. And that proves to be the case right here as the seconds tick away. Referee Daniel Elder decides it's enough to merit a yellow card for time wasting. Tarek Elridge suggests he needs to get subbed off. And then, out of all of this, he managed to lose the ball. I think he knew exactly what he was doing and is happy to eat the yellow card.
No, you reckon? Run out of subs anyway, so he'd want to leave his team player down. There's still time for Adelaide. I mean, that's the way they've shown they can flip the switch and ride a wave of enthusiasm and belief. They can snatch it late still. They won't want to be leaving it too much longer to halve the deficit.
Amiento trusts his left. Galloway, a tumbling pass that Mahazi deals with. Goodwin. Straight into Bacchus. Barmjohan sees Majok galloping into space. And he's going to take it down to the corner. Or is he? Now he hones back in on the target. Abraham Majok. And Bacchus to Majok. And that shot is as good as a clearance. 2 minutes of the 6 expired. Still looks like it's going to be Wanderers' night from here. Amiento. Russell doesn't let him pass. Duke comes in to help.
See, this sort of one-on-one dueling ability was completely absent in the first half from the Wanderers. And they're working in pairs when possible. And even when they're isolated one-on-one, they've been way more effective in this second half.
That long ball is well beyond the stride of Amiento. Half of stoppage time is up. Paul Izzo, it all went pear-shaped when Rolly Bonavacia's deflected shot caught him out and fell into the back of the net. When the second half kicked off, it was looking like Adelaide's game for the taking. And instead, they're about to be suffering a major shock and setback at home. As Muda Curtis sends it into Rosette. Thomason. Hasn't been his night, the Dutchman. Galloway. Into the mixer and cleared by Hamill, who waves his defence to press up. Isaias. Ilso. Falls to Thomason. And on the turn, it's only going to go out for a throw. 2 minutes for Wanderers to negotiate. Hopeful ball. Muda Curtis. Isaias. And now Barmjohan. And body checked by Blackwood. And the home fans, they've lost their voice. It's just a eerie surrounding of silence here. And Wanderers may have come into tonight leading the league in balls into the penalty area. They've been well and truly outnumbered in that count tonight, but it matters not. 3 goals from 15 ventures into the box.
Yeah, Adelaide will wonder where this one went. And as you've rightly isolated, Taylor, we've discussed, the game pivoted on the axis of a deflected goal. Changed everything completely, as goals can tend to do in normal circumstances. But
can Duke score one for the road? That one is driven well wide in the final minute of 6 stoppage.
these weren't particularly normal circumstances, in as much as Adelaide were completely dominant, and the Wanderers all season have shown a real softness about them. But they've looked way more convincing in this second half as a unit. Adelaide haven't been able to get through, and they've defended their box well. To be honest, there's not been any heroics required of Janjetovic to save across the line. And indeed, it's been Izzo who, despite not having been called into work terribly often, has had the more dramatic goalkeeping to perform.
One last hurrah then for Adelaide, simply to repair the scoreboard a little, you suspect, rather than try to get anything out of the Knights. Blackwood. Ryan Strain. He's clattered behind play. And that is that. Consecutive wins for Western Sydney. Success in Adelaide for them. And on a night where Rolly Bonavacia pulled the strings and ran the show, they get a precious away win in the Hyundai A-League. Is the revolution starting? Adelaide United 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 3. Amicable between the managers and the players, but it is a bit of a stunned silence at Hindmarsh Stadium, given that Western